It's Klein Vilppu, another drawing session. You're watching me do the drawings, and I hope by this time now you're starting to get a little bit of a feel for it. And keep it up, maintain, of course. You should be doing this every day. Take care. Okay, drawing on the right. Now, flow. Again, I approach this the same way I do a 1 hour pose. First to get the action. Through, cross, of course, if you're interested in animation, the most critical element that you're after is the action. That's the only thing that really counts. Also, if you're drawing for the imagination, the approach that I take is the same way that I draw from imagination as I draw from the model. And so obviously it's a non-copying approach to doing the figure. Okay, drawing on the right. Okay. Pull. Figure's really going in, so right away I'm going across the form. Feel the pinch coming over. Here it's going to be across. And then we pull the arms across over the surface, coming back, going through the pull. Over. Feel the leg behind. Yeah. Now, thinking of the way the pecs are pulling off of the rib cage, went through. Even in a quick 1 minute pose, I'm thinking anatomically. Okay. Okay. Now, here, and notice the dot at the top of the head is to indicate the direction. The fact that it's really leaning over here, I'll come up right away and feel the shoulders. Now he's going back in, so I'm going across, going in, pinch, feel pelvis, leg is coming up and out, going over the surface, and down. The other leg is behind, through, we see the underside of the foot coming through, arm, shoulders coming across, elbow coming down, and feel the pull. Figure really pushing down, and he's dropping his hand well below where his feet are. So it's really dropped down different layers, levels, I should say, coming through, over, and I want to feel the pinch coming through, okay. A photograph on the left. Okay. Now, through. Really feel the pull now. Stretch. Over the surface. Twisting. Really come in and feel the compression. Through. And back. The arm as it comes down, I feel it coming out. Dropping down, through. Feel the leg on the other side coming across, in, coming up from behind, through. And build, scapula, pushing up, feel through. And pull over the surface, coming in, and here. Stretch, And over the surface, down. The legs going in underneath. Feel the scapula coming across. Arm is going in. Hands coming up over the head. Coming across, holding his legs. Down, feel the buttocks, both sides. And here, really think of the pinch. Foot's coming down. The other leg's behind, dropping down. Feel the neck fitting in here. And then the hand going up here. Then start to emphasize scapula coming across from trapezius through. Feel the other side coming up. And here, really emphasize going down, fitting in, through. Pull. Drawing on the left, pose on the left. Okay, now, as I'm going to take in, again, this is very quick, so what I'm doing is I'm starting out with a brush, and at the same time I'm going to add an atmosphere to take and work with positive and negative shapes here to come across the leg. It gives me a fast feeling for what the figure is doing, dropping one behind, bringing one in front, through, arm going up. Now I'll come back into this with the brush, with the pen. So now as I come back, hit the pit of the neck, the rib cage, come over the surface, in, navel, feel the compression going through, arm, this, come through, arm behind, coming through. Now actually the bleeding that's taking place, I think it adds a nice look to it. So some people may object to that. I don't. And through. In. And we think of where the thoracic arch is, through. Feel the buttocks underneath and compression taking over. So this is a really convenient way of working. Go back in, add. Okay, again, I'm working, starting out with the brush. Now, as I do this, the poses particularly are useful in that they have a lot of forms coming forward, others going back, so I can take and create a certain sense of the drawing, the action, just by visualizing the spatial elements of the pose. Doing positive, negative shape, coming across, and coming through, going over the surface, coming under, pull, atmosphere, going over and around. So already at this point, you can get a pretty strong sense of what that pose is going. So now I'll take and go back in with the pen and feel the stretching over the trapezius. I should say the trapezius stretching over to the deltoid, coming down through, and okay, through, pinch, pinch, feel the rib cage, through, over, cross. Now what I'm doing is going over this form, through. Okay. Cross, the arm is coming forward, over, the leg coming out from behind. We need to get the pecs coming across this arm, going back, down, and in. Leg coming forward, going over the surface. Okay. Okay. Now, here, thinking 3D. Now, working with a brush like this, it's useful to remind people that I'm essentially a painter. So this is a really painting approach. In other words, I'm coming through thinking of mass, volumes, positive, negative shapes coming through. So you can see at this point we're already getting a clear sense of the arms coming back. Hit things, pull, feel the legs coming out, feel the atmosphere in between using a negative, or the area around the form rather than the form itself. Come through. And this becomes a jumping off point that I can take and build on rather quickly. Here, add to the head. When I work with a brush like that, I don't feel restricted to the contours that I create. These are just jumping off points. Pull. Now feel the pressure of that scapula pushing back over the trapezius, come down, through. Now really feel this pull. Over. Okay. Okay. Same thing coming through. Now here I'm taking and picking up shapes on the interior and the outside again. And down, go over the surface. Feeling through, over. And notice that I'm really being very, very, very loose and free about this. And when I come through, and come underneath, forms coming through, legs, shapes outside, coming in, through. Okay. Now I'll go back in with the pen. Feel over the surface, feel the pull of the neck, coming down. Okay, going back, now through. So the brush just gave me a starting point. Again. Again, I do an awful lot of it when I'm sketching, traveling, working this way. I can very quickly get a sense of what's going on and then come back in and build it, work with it with the pen. Over. Okay, now in this drawing it's a little bit different. I'm starting out with the pen and coming back, and then I'll take and go over the pen drawing with the wash. Let's go through. Now I'm going to take, and what happens is the pen bleeds. That's, in other words, using a fountain pen, the water has to be, the ink has to be water soluble. So that as I'm going through now I can go back over this. And I can take and creating washes going over the thing to take and build. So you can see now it's a really useful tool to take and come through. Then I go back into this with, again, so often the student gets fixated on a particular media. Usually it's a school thing that people think, oh yeah, you have to draw everything using Conti, or you got to draw everything using graphite, or which is unfortunate, because maybe your material that is best suited for you is not the material that being presented to you. And so the artist should take and constantly be experimenting with different means, because it brings out different qualities in their work and their personality. If you're familiar with my work, where I'm working taking long poses, this is quite different. Go through. So often I will take and say, okay, here where I did the pen and then added the wash. Well, often I will take a drawing, like in these drawings that I have done here, the 1-minute sketches. Often I will come back maybe even a week later, or sometimes even a month later, and I'll come back and do the same thing. In other words, we can see what I'm doing is I'm taking and creating a tone. I'm separating forms in space. I'm taking and adding a whole new dimension to the drawing. They were done as quick sketches, but then you look at them and say, well, maybe I could do something with that. And I start to play around with it, and you expand on it. So what I've done with that, now I could take and go back into those even with the pen again, and adding another dimension of value just by working with the pen into the wet ink. So it's another level that you can take those quick sketches that you do, and often, like I say, it can be months, weeks later that you take and you come back into them. Now, I'm doing this, starting this one out with the wash again. And through, and I will do a combination of working with pen, brush, positive and negative shape, building volumes. It creates a whole texture of the drawing that is, to my eye, I like the effect of all of the different medias coming into play, but it also gives you an opportunity to take and work with atmosphere. So it's not just the forms on the page or on the figure, but you're taking and dealing with the paper, the space around it as well. And I come through, work positive and negative, coming in. Now, at this point, I've got the thing fairly set up. So now I'll shift over to the pen. Okay. Through. And time permitting, I'll go back into this with some wash again. Feel the scapula is shoving back in. And we can feel the trapezius down. This is the triceps. The end of the scapula is in here. Feel where the arm is being shoved up. The infraspinatus pushing down. And we hear the trapezius pushing up to the end of the scapula. And I come back. As I come back over this, I'm going over the surface of the form. Now, I'm jumping into a lot of stuff here that's a little bit beyond what I normally do if I'm just doing a straight gesture drawing. But since I'm working with the wash, I've already given myself a lot of indication of what that whole gesture is. So as I come through, okay, the rib cage, through, we can feel, now the model is very well developed, so we're getting a lot of shapes. Like here, we get the infraspinatus, the trapezius coming over, and we feel the infraspinatus in here coming across, and you get the deltoid going down behind and going over the surface, the latissimus coming down, and the shape that's being created through, going over the surface. Feel the pinch, feel the spine coming down here, take the arm coming through. And so this is a fairly direct approach. Not enough. The pen, the brush is actually doing the laying in for the drawing. Now, like I say, I can go back into this with wash again, which add another whole dimension to the drawing. Through, over, feel the biceps of the femur tendon. Through, down. It doesn't hurt to know your anatomy. In fact, anatomy and perspective are two things that, if you don't know them, they're incredibly important. If you know them, they're not important at all. So if you don't know it, that's pretty important. You better learn it. Okay. Let's go through. Now, I'll go back with the wash again. And I can start to pick up, push a bit of this stuff. Now, all I'm doing is I'm using the ink to take and create tones. I'm not adding any color. It's just the ink bleeding coming through. And like I say, it gives it a sense, another dimension to the drawing. And pull through. Coming around. All right, again with wash. Start out, okay, now, begin. Okay, now I'm taking a little bit more side. This is like the top of a box or cylinder coming through, come up from behind. And visualizing the form as it dropping down. So I'm just going over the surface, feeling this all dropping down. This is going to take and pulls out and go behind, coming through. Again, so I'm making the tone behind the arms. I'm taking and pulling that out as we come through. Then we can go feeling this going down, come across, go shadow being cast, going over the leg, pushing this back, using the contour, coming through, going around. The arm drops in behind. We can just drop that in tone, use some tone behind that, coming through the hand. So you can already at this point now, we've really got the whole thing set up. So they come through. And now I'll go back into the pen. Yeah. See how I'm really just indicating now, coming through. Because these are sketches. These are not. The whole point of a sketch is not just to try to do a fast 25-minute pose or hour pose. I'm just capturing and I like sort of the how can I put it, idiosyncrasies that often happen as you're doing drawings very quickly. Come through, fitting in, and it's dropping down. We can feel, carry through, come over the leg, and in. Yes. Again, notice I don't worry about whether I'm following the contours of the wash that I'm putting down. That really doesn't make any difference. In the end, it's the drawing. It's not the how well you're copying a photograph. It's coming through. Figure's apparently raised up off the ground. We need to add some wash there to make that understandable. So I come through. Again, so I'm building. And now you can, of course, you can come back in and push even more through. Now here I'm adding extra value with the wash. Yeah. And through behind. These drawings, by the way, are probably some of the fewer drawings that I've done this way in a long time. So this is I'm really just having some fun here. But that's what you'd be doing when you're taking and drawing, particularly the quick sketches. It's a matter of if you don't have fun doing it, well, gee, why are you doing it? And now really pull in that trapezius as it comes out. Not trapezius, yeah, I guess that is. Good. Now that you've gone through and watched me doing these drawings, it's not magic, it's practice. It takes time, we have fun doing it again and again and again. This is a whole world of art that's available through the New Masters Academy. Just click on that button and go to the New Masters Academy and begin a lifetime of education that would continually be opening up in front of you as you're taking and going through all of these lessons that we present to you.